do cold draft. So 2, 4, 6, 7.
Mm-hmm.
So what we'll do Newcastle and Blue Moon first.
I've got everybody teaching about other beers and then presenting their beers. So you guys have all the info.
And I don't have any samples. Do you want to pull them from downstairs?
Of these now, you
No,
can.
Okay, so I'll wait till that gets passed around. My name's Steve, by the way.
Steve.
How are you? Nice to meet you. And I represent Trumer Pils and the Shiner Hefeweizen downstairs. So I'll also be telling you about Newcastle and Blue Moon. Newcastle started in 1927. Newcastle Brewery is located in Newcastle upon Tyne, which is actually the location in England, Newcastle upon Tyne, which is the metropolitan borough of Tyne and Ware, northeast England. Colonel J. Porter was the founder. In 2010, the brewery moved to Dunstan, which is on the other side of the River Tyne. So just a little brewery background to get you started. The new brewery now, just in case anyone asks, it's not Newcastle Brewery, it's called Caledonia Brewing Company. It's Heineken of Amsterdam actually started that brewery back in the day. So it's not necessarily a Heineken product. You don't want to say that. It's a Heineken offshoot, kind of like a parent company. Newcastle itself, the beer is an English pale malt. It's an English pale brown ale. They use English pale malt blended with dark caramel malt to give it signature color. So there's two different styles of malts that they use. They blend those together, and that gives it that brown color essentially. It's lightly hopped, really, really easy drinking if you've ever had it before. Super creamy, easy drinkability, 4.7%, really smooth and light carbonation, which is their signature. They didn't want too much carbonation in there. Almost true to, I don't want to say a stout form and make you think stout, but they almost did that creamy flavor because of the Irish English stouts that are out there. So lightly carbonated. Oh, sorry guys.
Oh.
Everybody's blowing up in here.
Lightly carbonated, caramel, nutty, toffee taste is what you get from Newcastle. So any questions?
How did you say you got the color on that?
The color is they use two different styles of malts, and it's an English pale malt blended with a dark caramel malt.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't serve that though, do we?
Yeah, we do.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here's on to
Just to confuse you, we just want.
To compare to the.
No. Yeah,
these
no.
are extras here.
And the other thing is the ones that I'm having them just tell you about tend to be more popular, like Guinness, Newcastle, Blue Moon. You don't really need to know too much about them. That's just more for you guys to have in your back pocket.
Yeah. Basically, the customer asks any
I've been
questions.
drinking it for years. I just didn't know all this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's good to learn.
I know, huh?
So next is Blue Moon, and this is the parent company is Coors Brewing Company out of Golden, Colorado, and Blue Moon. About I think 10 years ago they started an offshoot, and it was a Belgian white, and they did, and now they have all sorts of flavors if you've ever seen it in the grocery store. Belgian white is the one you guys have downstairs. It's a traditional Belgian white beer. So the difference between, and I'm going to go into the Shiner Hefeweizen, which is a German style Hefeweizen. This is a Belgian style Hefeweizen. It's a Belgian white beer. So in Belgium they call it a wit beer, which just translates to white beer. And in Germany they call it a Weiss beer, which is a wheat beer. So it's unfiltered.
I cooled it up a little bit so you guys.
Oh, that's.
Okay.
Thank you. Can you show me how to do that later? I opened that thinking I'd cool it down for us, and I didn't do anything.
Now you can feel it.
Yeah, now I'm like, oh, it does
Yeah,
feel
perfect
cooler.
beer.
Sorry, guys.
This is an unfiltered beer, so you'll see it's really cloudy. They don't go when the option to filter any beer, like the Trumer Pils, is a filtered beer a couple times over. This is an unfiltered beer. They do that because traditionally the style in Belgium and Germany is to have unfiltered wheat beers. They don't. If it's a filtered wheat beer, most likely, well, I guarantee it's not going to be from Europe. It's not going to be from Belgium or from Germany. White, they use the ingredients that they use: white wheat, oats, coriander, and orange peel. So when you taste that beer, very orange, citrusy, really good taste. Very light and spicy citrus flavors. And again, I was talking about the difference between the wit and the Weiss beer, and that's 5.4%. All right. So we'll go right from that into Shiner Hef. Have you guys had Shiner Hef yet?
I don't think I've tried Shiner.
All right.
It's pretty awesome. It was the first keg we blew through, guys, so the customers like it, so.
I have a feeling, and I am being partial, but I have a feeling that this beer will do really well for you. Probably one of your best sellers through the summer months. It's got a name. In La Mesa, it's big with a lot of, well, I wouldn't even say in La Mesa, in all of San Diego, it's big with military. And so the military kind of brought it. There you go, pass these around.
Thank you.
There you go.
Oh, sorry.
When I turned
Yeah.
There you go. You're welcome.
Don't laugh.
Would you like
I'm
to
not
taste?
laughing. Oh, I'm good. He actually doesn't.
Yep.
I'm
So,
not allowed.
He's our driver.
All right.
Court order. Steve, before you even start, does Shiner have anything to do with Texas?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Okay, go
Shiner,
ahead.
this is a Spotzel Brewery, established in 1909 out of Shiner, Texas.
Thank you.
Still there. It's 102 years old this year. Really, really proud of it. It's a great, great brewery. The head brewer took over in 1914. It was originally called the Texas American Brewing Association, and in 1914, the head brewer Cosmos Spotzel took over, and he decided to call it the Spotzel Brewery because he basically put all the money forward to lease the brewery and then purchase the brewery outright. So since 1914, he's owned it. Shiner Hefeweizen, true Bavarian style, unfiltered wheat beer. So Bavaria, Germany, true unfiltered wheat beer. Again, it's a Weiss beer, like a Weizen.
Like a wheat.
Like a wheat, right. Weiss beer is a wheat beer, traditionally. That's actually what it's spelled out in the translation, Weiss beer, wheat beer, versus the Belgian, which is the Weiss beer. So it's an unfiltered wheat beer, and they use Old World Munich malt. So all the ingredients are traditional Bavarian ingredients. Old World Munich malt. They use wheat grist, which is used in only 1% of beers worldwide. So it's a really expensive ingredient, and they use that for flavoring and for within the malt. They use orange and lemon zest, so you get a balance of both orange and lemon. And with this beer, you almost don't even need, in fact, I even tell bartenders and owners, you don't even need to put a lemon in there or an orange. It's got so much zest in there, and I'm sure you guys can smell it, but even when you taste it, you don't even need one, unless the customer asks, of course, but serving it as a bartender, or if you're back behind the bar pouring it, you don't even need a lemon.
It's really good.
Bottle condition, does anybody know what that means?
The color of the glass?
No, so this is pretty cool. I learned this when I started this job myself. Bottle condition means that all of these beers, well, specifically Shiner Hefeweizen, I'm not going to say all of these beers, go through secondary fermentation, which means the yeast is alive. It's not a pasteurized beer, it's unpasteurized. So they didn't kill everything, they didn't boil it up and then freeze it so that it could travel, to 2 continents over. Shiner is unpasteurized for the United States. It's got an expiration date. It's gonna taste like crap in about 75 days. So all the beer is fresh. It's shipped right from Texas, right out to where it's going, and it gets there as quick as possible, direct routes. So the yeast is alive. So it's going through secondary fermentation. So what that essentially means is, over time, this beer is gonna taste like more stronger and effervescent, and like the flavors will get bigger, and then of course it reaches that tipping point, and then it just turns downhill from there. But that's,
Unpasteurized.
it's unpasteurized, absolutely. They add, at the very, very end, they add clover honey and yeast before bottling or kegging. So that goes with the keg format, so the stuff that's coming out of the draft, as well as the bottle format. They add clover and honey, and then again, secondary fermentation inside each bottle and each keg. So it's pretty cool. So you talk to somebody who knows a lot about beer, and they're like, hey, you know, I heard a little bit about this Shiner, but tell me a little bit more. It's you know, it's a true Bavarian style wheat beer. They use Old World Munich malt. They use wheat grist, which is only used in 1% of beers worldwide. Really orange and lemony flavor, really strong. They use the clover honey at the end, and all of these kegs and bottles go through secondary fermentation, which now you know what it is. Basically, it's alive. The beer is alive inside. They didn't kill it
It's
by
like baking a
pasteurizing.
cake.
Exactly, exactly. Absolutely true, just with the yeast. 5.4%. That's alcohol by volume, and then 17 IBUs, which is international bitter units.
Not bitter.
Not bitter at all. So say 100, you're gonna have a sip of beer at 100 IBUs, and you're gonna be like just cheeks and everything. You feel it tingling. 17, 13, which is Trumer, really, really low, easy drinking, kind of session style beer, nice and easy to drink. All right, so that's Shiner Hef, and then Trumer.
So if someone, I mean, I drank a lot of Blue Moon
Uh-huh.
in the past, but if someone was trying to decide between Blue Moon and the Shiner Half,
Absolutely.
what words would you say?
Well, I'll tell you what, I would put it right on the customer and say, what do you prefer? A Belgian style or a German style Hefeweizen? And the differences between the two are going to be German style Hefeweizens. They use a lot of wheat. It's a basically how they do the Hefeweizen is they use wheat malt instead of where did I go?
You can tell them that this one comes alive when you
Right.
serve it just
Right.
right at their table. It's a great selling point.
Yeah, seriously. So
It's not
I
finished
guess
till
you
it
would start with
arrives.
there's the two the
It's not
differences
done.
are there's a German style
Right.
wheat beer versus a Belgian style wheat beer. So it all depends on what you like. The Shiner Hefeweizen is a wheat beer, uses wheat malts, very orange and lemon citrus flavors, whereas your Blue Moon has more orange peel, more orange zest, coriander, oats, different flavors. Your Shiner Hef has more citrus flavors, and again, unfiltered, like the traditional German style. So the thing is, there's always a debate in Europe between Bavarian and German, like well, who's more authentic. They're both really authentic. It's just a matter of taste. And you know what you could do? You could always take a little couple
Yeah,
cups and say,
samples,
here's a couple samples. Try it yourself and see which one you like.
Neither one of them are filtered though, right?
They're both unfiltered. Yeah.
I mean, would it be fair to say that, I think you kind of said this, but from my memory that the Blue Moon is definitely more of an orange taste to
Yes.
it? Like you definitely get that
The
more.
orange coriander, and
Orange
this
and coriander,
is
yeah.
more citrus in the honey
The
as
honey-
well.
Honey is the big. I think you can smell it. You can smell it in this beer, and especially taste it. But the
Yeah,
lemon
you
and
can
the
smell the
orange-
honey in it. That's funny.
Yeah, the lemon and the orange, especially if you can get the head on there. You can smell that honey in there, which is what it's finished off with. So, all right, and then here's the Trumer, last one. You're welcome. All right, there you go.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay,
Thank you, Rob.
and here's the Trumer. This is my favorite thing to sell, personally. I mean, I had to pick a favorite, just because I've tried all the beers. I love Shiner products, don't get me wrong. They're unbelievable. A lot of quality ingredients go into Shiner. But the story behind this doesn't go back 102 years. It goes back 410 years. So it's you know, so that alone to me was extremely interesting.
It's got deep roots.
So here's the deal. You're gonna hear, this is probably, I would say, one of the most, you'll get a lot of questions from this beer. You'll get a lot of questions because out there in the public, people are like, Trumer, I thought it's European, I thought it's German or Austrian, it's not American, and there's so many ups and downs, and I do these events all the time, and I talk to people, and I'm finally getting the word out there that Trumer is American. It's a German, it's not only American, but it's also Austrian. So people are like, what? I don't understand. So let me get into it.